What is going on, people? Welcome to your 52nd Java tutorial, and this tutorial is probably going to be pretty long. It's probably going to be a multi-part tutorial, and we're going to be talking about event handlers. So what an event handler or event handling is in the last tutorial I showed you guys how to build a simple GUI or GUI. Well, what an event is anything that the user can do, like move their mouse, click a button, press enter. Those are called events in computer language. Now what an event handler is the code that responds to your mouse movement or button clicking. So the event would be click a button. The event handler would be the code that says, okay, when you click this, I want another box to pop up that says you just clicked the button or something like that. So the event is what the user does. The event handler is what the programmer makes when they do that event. And this overall process is called event handling. So I'll be talking about this later on, but you guys need to know pretty much. I just want to tell you, in this program or tutorial, we're going to be building a window on the screen, and we're going to be building some text boxes inside that window, and whenever the user enters text and press enter, the event handler is going to say, alright, I'm going to pop up another box. So let's just go ahead and get started. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you'll figure it out eventually. Okay, I need a little break now. The first thing we need to do is import a bunch of crap that we're going to use in this tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and type import java.awt.flow layout, and make sure your A is not capitalized. And go ahead and you can just copy this right here, because we're going to be using something similar to it. So we imported java awt flow layout. The next thing we want to import is java.awt.event.action listener. Let me make sure I spelled listener right. Yep. And what this does, the flow layout pretty much gives you layout. The listener listens, or pretty much waits for the user to do something like press enter or something. So now the last thing we need to import from the AWT is event. Come on, cursor. Seriously? awt.event.action event. And these are events which I told you about last time. Now we need to import four things from the swing. So let's go ahead and import JavaX. Make sure you have the X, swing.jFrame. And now we can go ahead and, well, might as well copy that because we're going to be importing three other things. Copy, paste, paste, paste. We need to import JFrame, JTextField, and make sure that you got your capitalization same as mine with the T and the F capitalized. JFrame, JTextField, JPassword field. And text field is somewhere where you can type text. Password is the same thing, but instead of showing the text, it covers it up in asterisk so you can't see. And the last thing is option pane. So now we imported everything that we need for this tutorial, and these pretty much are all the built-in methods and variables that we're going to use. So now what we need to do for our Tuna class is, just like before, we need to extend or inherit all the stuff from JFrame. And what this pretty much does is give us all, it pretty much lets us use a window. So now we created a window like any other program. Now we can start putting stuff in it. So we're going to put 3 items plus a password field in it, or pretty much 4 text fields. So let's go ahead and make variables for those. Let's make our first text field first. So private J text field, and you need to put J text field, and you can name it anything you want. I'm just going to name my item 1, and I'm going to make 3 of these. So I'm just going to copy this because I am extremely lazy. Item 2 and item 3. And the last, sorry about that, I had to take a little break, help my roommate find his phone, but alright. So we created 3 text fields right here. Now let's go ahead and create our last password field. And we'll set that to private as well because, I mean, why not? J password field. like that. And let's just give this a variable, oops, password field. Looks good. So now I did something, oh, no semicolon, embarrassing. So we created 3 items plus a password field. Now let's go ahead and create our window. So let's go ahead and create a constructor for this, and since my class is named Tuna, I'm gonna have to create a method that's named Tuna. So I'm just going ahead and gonna type public Tuna, doesn't take any arguments, and whatever I create in this is pretty much the window. So the first thing I need to do, or first thing I actually want to do, is add a title to this. And if you remember from the last tutorial, to do this you just put super, and then in your argument you put the title or whatever you want for the title. Not going to get anything fancy because I'm not creative at all. So now we're going to have to set the layout for this, which is pretty much how things are placed. And we don't want to have to code a new layout and place everything, so we're just going to grab a one by default. And how you do this, put set layout, and if you're wondering where all these methods are coming from, they're imported somewhere up here, all these built-in methods that I'm using. You just can't make set layout and put it in everything. You actually have to import it. So set layout takes one argument, and the argument for this is new flow layout, just like that. And that is a method in itself, so make sure you have that typed just like that. So now we have a title and a layout to our window, so let's go ahead and start adding those text fields right there. So the first thing we're going to add is the item 1, and we're going to set this equal to new J text field. And in the parameters for this, set the length of it as 10. And now we have an item, but we didn't add it to the window yet. So let's go ahead and add item 1, and this will add the item to our window. So now, although you can't see it, you pretty much have a blank window with just a little text field on the screen. Now we're going to go ahead and do that for the rest of our items. So let's go ahead and put item 2 and set this one equal to, and these are going to be a little bit different, just change things up a little bit. New J text field, but as your parameters, go ahead for this one and put like enter text here. Now what this is going to do is give you default text inside, and it pretty much is like a prompt. Now let's go ahead and add this one to the screen, item 2. So now we have pretty much an empty window with 2 things on our screen, 2 text fields. So now let's go ahead and change our item 3 variable to, yeah, you guessed it, new J text field. And for this one we'll go ahead and type, alright, let me think of something to do. There we go. Let's go ahead and type, we'll make this text uneditable, and we'll give it a default value of 20. And now we have a text field that says uneditable in it, and we want to make sure that the user cannot edit this. So what we're going to do is take that item 3, which is that text field, and how you set the editableness is go set editable, and what you're going to do for this is put false. And if you put false in that text field is not going to be editable, so the user is going to be able to change what's on the screen, read what's on the screen, but they aren't going to be able to edit it. And now what we want to do is just add item number 3 to that, and the last thing we're going to make is our password field. So just go ahead and write password field, and we're going to set this equal to new J, let me get it, password field. Make sure I typed everything right, and as a default you can give get out of there, my pass or something, and this is going to show up in asterisk on your screen. So now that we have that, we can just go ahead and add the password field, or don't want that. So now we have a screen with 4 things on it. We have 4 different text boxes, and each one of them is a little different. I just want to show you guys that changing the parameters does a little thing different to it, and you'll see this later on visually. But in the next tutorial we're actually going to be adding an event and handlers to this. That means when you enter text and press enter, do this or do that. But for now I just wanted to get our window set up, and in the next tutorial we're going to start programming this baby. So I cannot wait. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.